say anything.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did.
You really did.
No.
Yeah, yeah. You just said. You can do it. Certainly. Watch the power, you can go off. Remember Friday? I spent the phone back then. Another person who got arrested. He called him on Monday. That's how come. Because remember, like, the kid pulled it and he ran off campus. I saw someone running off campus.
That's crazy. I said that's crazy.
I don't know. Remember that one time that the science room the machine was smoking? Remember that?
No.
You know? Now it's for food and the teacher's hours.
I remember when Mr. Barlow's room was so smoky when someone burnt popcorn. There's a giant pan in there and I had to blow the smoke out. It was really crazy.
And also for noodles too. We gotta put water in it. Who doesn't know how to make noodles?
Yeah.
Actually, I've done that before. At home. And I actually left the fork in the noodles. Who is that? Fletcher. I know that. We're going to the state parking. I do call Mary. You want her leg to be out when you walk past? Okay.
She's not so strange.
Oh, it's strange.
Everyone else makes it strange.
You're strange.
You're strange also.
No, you're straight.
I'm straight. You're straight. You're a stranger.
Stranger.
I'm a stranger. Stranger.
That has the pulp in it.
What?
The pulp. Where is it frozen?
It's frozen. Frozen solid. Why?
There's pulp in it. Okay.
You're like a convenience store. Like you always bring like snacks and stuff.
Me?
Yeah.
I've never brought snacks, dude.
He brought a Jolly Rancher popcorn.
Those are disgusting.
I've never had one, so I can't.
Who wants to have a Jolly Rancher for breakfast?
Little kids.
But the prices now the basic offer it out yet.
Those are way too sweet.
I'll trade you.
But I need it for my training acting.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I have to rehearse. I'm gonna get sick.
You need a banana. You need a banana. You need a banana.
I've already got an orange.
But you need a banana too.
So I can dip in it?
No.
Dip in the...
How much was that?
Why? Why? You wouldn't know. So you can buy one? Well, I got them in the vending machine.
No reason to scare you guys today. How y'all doing, huh?
Great.
Nicole, welcome back. Oh, you gonna hide behind that again?
He doesn't have his face.
Let me take roll. Let me
It looks like smoothies.
put this away.
Yeah, look at it. Smoothies.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
We're gonna have a better day today, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't like getting on your case. I get no joy from that. All right.
Alright.
You guys are gonna need your books today.
Cool.
You guys are gonna need your books today. Libby, Andrew, headphones off, gadgets away.
I don't got my gadget.
Headphones off,
Well, headphones, yeah, but
headphones off,
I know.
put your gadget away.
I know.
I think it's
I
kind
know.
of like a style
Wallace.
with it.
I think that's it's part of my style, Wallace.
Can I use any of yours?
Style's important. How much money you
I'm
got?
right.
You got more carrots? You got chocolate chip cookies?
I got a brownie.
Okay, I'm gonna need something if you want one of my books.
I got a brownie.
No, I'm not gonna take your brownie. Let me see. Yeah, I think I have. What I might do is you could use it, but I'm gonna have to. I'll talk key points. Okay, so yeah.
There's your extra right there. Thank you.
Hashina. Hashina. I was saying my name in a different way.
Ernesto, can you put away the gadget? Thank you. Ernesto, welcome back, by the way. I meant everything I said at the meeting except for the fact that I like you. I didn't mean that. That was a total lie. I just wanted you to look good in front of your mom. So you owe me $20. Because where's Dai Chi?
He's only 7.
Well, how do I know that?
He just
I
left.
told me to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I go to Miss Savage's? I like you.
I respect that. Hey, hi. I just want to make sure. Did Dai Chi make it? Okay, thank you. Bye.
Tyler,
I love this class.
your post.
Yeah, I put it there.
Should I be taking
What?
Nothing. It's just your face.
Hey, I want everyone to stop smiling and stop laughing. I want to see nothing but frowns. I want it quiet. I want you guys depressed. We're going to talk about the economy. Okay? I do not like mirth. I do not like joy. I am an angry, old,
Mad person.
single, bitter man.
Is that your problem?
That's my problem. No, I love it. I swear, sometimes I wake up and I just rip the loudest fart and I'm thinking, it is so good to be alone and alive.
Are you sure you don't crap yourself?
You know what? I might have. And then I just kind of rub it into the sheets. You know what I'm saying? Then I wrap myself up in the sheets and roll around on the floor. Why are we talking about this, man?
Because you
I
brought it
hope.
up.
You know what?
Start
You're I know. Why did I ask that question? I'm the one who's at fault.
And you want to have leche?
Leche?
I mean, chicle.
Chile?
That's a country.
Chicle.
You want either a chili or you want milk?
No, chicle is gum.
Oh.
Chile is a country.
Chile.
Oh, hey, whose is this? Do you notice where you put it? Oh.
Your same spot.
Ah! Okay, hold on. Actually, because you have my book, I said I need to get up and look at my book. Open up your books to. Any questions about chapter 1? I know. Any questions about chapter 1? Do you want to start at 68 and talk about something there?
No.
Everyone turn to page 68.
No.
Everyone turn to page 68. Where were we?
That's chapter 2.
Okay, hold on. 52. Hold on. Let me. Don't start acting
What page
like
are
that.
we turning to?
I'm trying to. You know what? You all just. I want everyone. Excuse me. Turn to page 51.
My pencil's not
Okay,
here.
listen. I said turn to 68 because she said 68. Everyone turn to page 51. We're going to talk about economic systems, okay? So we understand the resources needed for an economy to work. We understand some basic terms. Were you like, hey, that's my bullet? Okay, so now I want to talk about economic systems. So we have 3 types of economic systems. Well, actually, there's more. What are the 3 types of economic systems? So look at page 51. We got economic systems, or the different types of economies.
Economic freedom.
We have a traditional economy. So understand the concept of a traditional economy. Libby,
What?
who else might be interested in this? Actually, I think Devin, without knowing it, might be connected to this. I think that anybody who trades goods for goods is part of what we would call a traditional economy. I mentioned your name because you like art. And oftentimes, like amongst artists, people will trade materials for materials. They might trade art for art. Devin, I know your mom attends a lot of like fairs and outdoor conventions, those kinds of things, that she's involved in that kind of work. Up in the state of Washington, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have a big, up in the Yakima Valley. Hello, you two. Thank you. Don't try to get into a staring contest with him. It'll freak you out because he'll get this big grin, and then it's just like, it gets weird.
No, I was looking down and he was staring at me.
I know. I was watching. Don't worry, I got your back. I was making sure that.
She was
He doesn't
starting
like
looking
you
at
on
me
this.
first and started looking down, up and down.
Okay. So back when I was a
You
kid, when
too,
I was
Mom.
your age, and I used to work up in Alaska, everyone talked about the barter's fair in Washington. The barter's fair. You guys know what bartering is?
Yeah.
What does bartering mean?
Trying to make money.
No.
Isn't it like
Bargaining for
No.
Bargaining with
Boom.
someone by
Listen
trading
to Ernesto.
and finding the lowest price or whatever.
Okay, well you might do that. So you barter, you trade. So I would show up, say with, now this was up in the Yakima Valley in Washington where they had this big barter's fair. And people would go there and they would trade, like, you might have people who were like kind of survivalists, people who lived off the land, and they would take pelts of animals. Hey Nico, can you hear me? Because all I see is the, like, hair and nothing else. I don't know if I'm looking at like a toupee or a wig or another. Now I see one eye. You know how unnerving this is? Like I look at Andrew and he's like, then I look at you and I see one eye.
Shut up, Wallace. You
I'm
annoying
sorry.
brat.
I'll be hiding in the room.
And so people would bring pelts, like animal pelts, and they would trade them for things like, sugar, flour, trade them for things to eat. Some people, there was kind of a black market economy there. You guys know what I mean by the black market economy?
Isn't that like rare stuff?
No. Well, so black market economy, so most people, illegal goods, the trade of illegal goods. So for example, you
Where do you do
could,
that
where do they do that at? They do that. They do it on, did you ever hear about how, something called Silk Road?
Oh,
You ever heard of Silk Road?
No.
Silk Road was an economy, it was an internet, it was in what they call the dark web. And you could go to Silk Road and you could buy drugs, you could buy prostitutes, you could buy illegal guns.
What?
You could buy these on I don't know like how to even get into the dark web, but it was something called Silk Road. Now, let's go back to the barter. People would trade things like gallbladder, bear gall. You guys know about the illegal bear gallbladder trade?
No. Is it the bear?
Really big. Yeah, so what they do is when people hunt bears, they are not allowed to harvest their gallbladder and sell it. In Chinatown in San Francisco, a gallbladder filled with whatever fluid is in there can fetch you a lot of money. Because amongst the Chinese, they like herbalists will sell it, and it's very, very valuable. And people can get like well over $1,000 for this stuff. So hunters will do this, and Fish and Game, they don't have a lot of enforcement because it's not like SAC or San Francisco PD is going to be searching out this stuff. They got other problems to deal with. But Fish and Game is a really small kind of entity. And so they don't have a lot of officers to dedicate to this kind of thing. And so there's people, you go to Chinatown, you know who to talk to. You go into one of these, I don't know if you guys have ever been in any of the herbalist stores, where you walk in and it's just all like roots and all these things in these glass cases and these glass jars, and some of them cost a lot of freaking money. And you can go back there and you say, hey, I need to get a little gallbladder. I can see Andrew getting some
I
gallbladder.
don't think you would be saying it like that. You would have to have like a code for it.
There's probably a code word. But anyway, that would represent a black market community, an economy. And the thing about the black market is this, and especially when you consider drugs, a community where drugs, so when I went to Humboldt State, when I was a teenager, right, and I was going to school there, like it was clear, everyone knew that drugs fueled a significant portion of the economy. Now the problem is this, when you have a black market economy, so let's say you have a place draws a lot of people, like right now you get a lot of trimmers who go to Nevada County, Nevada City, that area, to trim buds, okay? And these trimmers, they come in, and here's the thing, because they're unemployed, they can't declare what they're using. They get things like food stamps. It really pisses people off in the local economy, because they'll go into stores, they'll open up their wallets, and their wallets will be full of $100 bills, and then they're buying things with food stamps. And when that happens, and oftentimes a lot of them, they have these European accents. There's like people from France and Germany and stuff who come in and they're wearing like really nice, cool clothes, and they got a wallet full of $100 bills, and then they're handing you food stamps. Or they're using EBT to buy food. It's like, really? So here's the thing, black market economies can have a significant impact, because where do we get our services as a society?
Social Security.
Where do we get that money?
Taxes.
Taxes. From you. From people who work.
I don't know.
Okay, well,
Just kidding.
but if you get Social Security, you know your Social Security is being taxed. The government is taking a piece of that too, because they consider it an income. Doesn't matter to the government whether the income is generated by you, or generated by the government, or somebody else. So like if you make money in another country, Libby, you go back to say France, and you make your money, or Nico, you make money in Greece, and you bring it back. You want to bring that money in and you want to put it in the bank. Let's say you make $20,000 in Greece and you bring it back and put it in your bank. Guess what happens when you put in more than $10,000 in your bank?
You can't put it more.
You can't get it out loud.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Ding, 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 ding. No, you can put in more. It's going to have a red flag, okay? And if they notice that, this is how banks, this is how they'll function. I can't say all of them, but this is kind of a protocol. If they notice that you put a lot of money and you typically don't, and it's over 10,000, they're going to report that. That's going to be suspicious to them. Okay? The other thing too is that then they find out and you get questioned about that, where this money come from. Oh, I made the money in Greece. You bring that money across the border, you bring it into the United States, the government wants their share of it. They're going to tax you because they're going to consider that income. And if you're living in the United States, if you're a citizen here, your residency is here in the United States, your income is going to go to government, whether you like it or not. Okay? You get money from a deceased parent, grandparent, family member. You guys are going to get taxed for that. Now, depending on the administration. Some administrations are more generous over those kinds of things. Others aren't. They will tax it. Okay? So a bartering economy is when you trade. And that's part of like what we call maybe part of a traditional economy. Okay? What's the other economy besides traditional? So we got traditional. Now we go to the next one. What's the next one? That's on page 51. So traditional is on page 50.
Advantages.
What's that?
Advantages.
No. Advantages, they're just telling you the advantages of a type of economy. So look at your header. We got traditional economy. You see that header right there? Command economy. Very good. So a traditional economy would be something like, let's say we live, you know, when I went up to Humboldt, I was fascinated by the Native American tribes from there. Can we put away the cell phone, please? That is beautiful. Now put it away. That is really pretty. That is so sparkly. And one of the things that there's a whole tribe called the Sinki One. You guys ever been to Mendocino County? There's a state park in Mendocino County called Sinki One State Park. There are no Sinki Ones living anymore, this Indian tribe. They got wiped out. One of the things about the coastal Indians is they had so much wealth from the land, they didn't fight. They didn't war with one another. So if I was one tribe living by the coast, this is up in Northern California, like Humboldt, Mendocino County, there was so much fish, so much deer and elk and wild boar. There were so many plants that I year-round had food to eat. Okay? And with that, I didn't have to do battle. So there's really, I mean, other than having, say, weapons to take down a deer or something, I wasn't attacking my neighbors. First of all, the land is really rugged. And I didn't need anything. There was no want. And so that left them really susceptible to white settlers who came in, European settlers who came into the area and drove them out and killed them off. And they took what they wanted from them. Okay, now here's the thing. One of the things that what they would trade, they'd have something called dentalian shells. So basically these are seashells. They would trade in seashells. They would trade in certain types of rocks, minerals, whatever, jewels, I don't know. But mostly seashells, and they found that that's what they would either barter. So let's say I killed an elk, and let's say you had wild onions. Because I was busy, or you grew some, I don't know, some plant which you then dried and you had access to, and I had elk, well, I trade you some elk meat for some of whatever you have, whatever plants you're eating that I could eat too. Let's say you have blackberries, a lot of blackberries on the coast. So we would trade that, okay? Or, if I didn't have that, you know what they found valuable? Seashells.
What if someone traded something that wasn't very valuable? Or just...
You'd have to trade a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
Or then they just call off the trade. But like for them, I mean, if we're talking about the North Coast Indians here in Northern California, you have like the Sinki One, the Yurok tribe, the Karuk tribe. If they didn't need it, I don't think it really mattered. Again, they had everything they need. The land provided everything they needed. And so their economy was based on it. They didn't have the need for currency, for money. Okay, paper money, coins. They didn't need it. So they would trade for what they want. Okay? And that's kind of a traditional economy. Usually doesn't use, their currency are things that typically stuff from the land. Okay? And then oftentimes within a traditional economy too, maybe, the larger your family was. So when they would, let's say we killed an elk. Okay, let's say we're all a tribe. We live together, we're on the coast. And so we go out and I say, hey Ernesto, you're going to go out and pick blackberries. You're going to collect wild onions. Tai, you're going to fetch water. And I'm the elder here. You're going to gather some wood so we can have a fire. You're going to get some bird so we can eat. And we get tired of eating birds, so I'm going to get an elk. And an elk yields a lot of meat. So then when I'm gonna look at what an elk, it's like, think of a really big deer. Okay, they're massive, right? If you guys ever go to Humboldt County, yes,
I went on a hike on it's like on like a really thin strip of land, like it's in the oceans on both sides. And we
I know where you were.
ran into,
Roosevelt elk.
we ran into the buck. His antlers were like, probably just like.
You guys come across elk in the wild during mating season and you see a big buck with antlers, stay the hell away from it. It will kill you.
We went around, we
Yeah.
walked past him, he didn't do anything.
No, they will kill you.
Why?
You know why? Because they're
he's
territorial.
protecting his ladies. He hasn't heard of
Kind of like me.
Mr. Wallace.
You see me at the
Yeah.
club and I come
Oh
my
my
ladies around, you roll up on me, you talk to one of my ladies, I
Break
will
them
kill
so.
you.
pretty
Okay.
much. It's like a him. With his like-
Okay, why are we taking this wonderful thing in nature? He's not selling out his ladies. He's not like a pimp. He's a king.
Alpha dog.
You know? He's Mufasa.
Oh, Mufasa.
He's the Lion King, but he's an elf. Okay,
Mufasa.
get back to this.
Yeah, well, that's this conversation.
So you guys understand the traditional economy, right?
Very well, good.
How do you think Mr. Wallace?
We're talking about elks, and then we go to pimps.
You talked about a club, so.
Yeah,
you did.
Fair enough.
Wait, how do you
Guilty
think,
as charged.
how do you think Mr. Wallace makes his money?
Dude,
He has the undercover.
Mr.
if I had to do that, I'd be poor.
Mr. Ross.
Poor. Yeah.
So my friend's brother was standing on the corner.
He was a pimp,
No,
huh? How do
he
you
was
think
standing on the corner and I was like driving by and I waved at him and then I texted my friend, oh, your brother's on the corner. And she said he has to make money somehow.
He's getting kicked out for somebody.
No. We're not serving dinner. It's like a soup
Don't
restaurant.
you ever have those moments where you feel like, I feel music.
No.
And I just got, Ernesto, put it away.
Play
Like
it.
you said.
Okay, command economy, I want you guys to read it. I want you to tell me. So I did all the talking with traditional. Now you guys fill in the blanks for command. Page 51. Read it. Libby, that's not a book. That's your lap. Turn around, look at your book, page 51. Command economy, you tell me what I'm going to ask you guys. I just want you to give me one bit of information about a command economy. So I'll call your name.
Certified mark.
How do you think Mr. Wallace should do
That makes it perfect. Important.
You know, one of the economies, what I always found fascinating, I don't know if they still do this. I've had a couple students in the past, not from here, one from Sac City, who was a rapper, and he would make his own CDs and he would sell them on the street. And I remember when about 10, 15 years ago, when I first moved back to Sacramento, they don't do that anymore, and I'd go into Dimple, I'd always, typically some young African-American male would walk in and say, excuse me, would you be interested in buying? He would tell me about his music and try to sell, and oftentimes I'd buy it just to help him out, because I think that's cool. I like to support the arts, you know, I just think, Felicia. You mean Reba?
Like we have.
But I thought that was really cool. That's kind of an economic thing. These were people who are, now, the thing is that, again, what's the problem with creating an income like that? What does that mean to the rest of society? You live in a capitalist society, in a democratic society where we where we pull each other up. If people aren't declaring that income, then there's no money going back to the rest of society, right? I mean, this person has probably drove there, or maybe they walked there. Let's say they drove there, they're driving over roads that our tax dollars paid for. Shouldn't they contribute to that too? But if they're working under the table, and this is one of the big issues that people have. Now, I'm going to throw this out there, but listen to everything I say. One of the big arguments about stemming the tide of illegal immigration is that people who work illegally don't pay into the system. Okay? And that's true. If you're getting paid under the table, a lot of people get paid under the table. I've been paid under the table before for building people's fences here on campus. I had a teacher needed a fence, that was my job before I became a teacher as a fence builder, and I went and made $350, and I didn't declare it, and I kept that money, pocketed it, and went to the club. No, I didn't. But here's the thing, I took that money, and where did I spend that money? Where did I spend that money? On food, at the stores. So in a way, now, when I buy food, is the food tax?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, the answer to that is yes. Certain types aren't, but my point is, so before we make the argument that so-called illegals aren't paying into the system, in reality, now there's people who debate the amount, but in reality they are. Because living here in America, they have to buy food, they have to buy gas, they pay for things that the taxes go into the system. And they might pay at a higher level than, say, someone who isn't working, who is a citizen, who is living off the government. And so there's kind of a two-way, this is a double-edged sword. Okay? All right. You guys have done some reading of command economies. What can you tell me about a command economy? Give me one bit of information, Devin. Yeah, I'm gonna. It's kind of distracting, isn't it? I like it though. There's nothing more joyful to me than not Spanish music, but Mexican music. I love going into a little bar, restaurant, and hearing that, especially that kind of northern music with the accordion and stuff. What is that? It's Tejano music. I love Tejano music. I think it's cool.
Yeah, but this is like music, I like the whole drug use and stuff like that. Narcos.
The Narcos music?
Yeah.
That's,
What?
yeah, that's a real, so what they have, you guys, this is another economy, right? If you're a singer in Mexico, and what happens is a lot of these narcos, a lot of the big drug dealers, they're very egotistical people. Oftentimes they come from nothing, okay? And so all of a sudden they have this money and power. And here's the thing, you guys ever hear the expression, power corrupts? Have you ever heard that expression? Power corrupts. And so all of a sudden they get money and they get power, and then they go overboard with it. They're really ostentatious with it. Ostentatious, there's a word. Ostentatious means really extravagant. So it's like when you make a lot of money and all of a sudden you got like gold spinners, and you're wearing lots of chains and lots of bling, and you buy a lot of nice things. That's being really, and you're letting everyone know that you're rich, okay? And so one of the things about the narcos, what they do is they'll hire these singers, and they'll have the singers sing songs in praise of them, what wonderful people they are. They also sing songs about the reality of being a narco. Sometimes it's dangerous and stuff. When they talk about the danger, they're talking about it in terms of, but look, this cat survived it, he's a badass. And here's the thing, you guys remember what I told you about the fool in Shakespeare? The fools, the singers often, they play this role where they don't want to piss off the king, because what happens if they piss off the king, Ernesto? They'll take your head off. But they also want to be funny. And what's funny? Is it talking about the obvious, or is it having a little edge? A little edge. So the narcos play the same kind of role, the modern day fool in Shakespeare. They got to have a little edge to them. But guess what happens if they go too far with that edge? They die. Interesting thing, man. And it's kind of driven by economic market forces. It shapes people. It affects people. It has an impact. All right, command economy, give me one aspect. I've been waiting a long time. This better be good.
Because you've been talking.
Yeah. Once again, my fault. Devin, I'm sorry. Now hurry up before I freaking cut off one of your legs.
Feed it in the hole, right?
Now feed it to the phone. Let's hear it. Just tell me one thing. So here's what you can do, guys. If you're like stuck, you're like, well, what does all this want? Okay. Look at the section on command economies and look at the bold print. So could you talk about one of the bold print points in that section? So why don't you look at so look at command economy, and I want you to look at what's the first bold print that you see. So what it's talking about, it's talking about different types of, excuse me, it's talking about different types of systems. One of them is communism. You guys remember communism? I know if you've taken world history with Mr. Barlow or any of the teachers, you guys, if you've taken U.S. history, you probably learned about the McCarthy era, right? McCarthyism? Yeah? You learned about the Cold War? Yeah, that was the forces of good and evil. Good is democratic, capitalist societies versus evil, communist, inhuman, rigid, government-run societies. You guys ever read the book 1984?
No, I heard it's like a confusing book, but like,
It's not very confusing at all. No, I'm telling you, it's not confusing at all. Part of the problem, I tried to have the students read it. What they didn't like, what I found students in my class didn't like, is it's written by a cat named George Orwell. Okay? And so the writing was a little archaic. It sounds very British. You know, it's not in a style that's really kind of palatable to the modern. It's not in the modern style. Ernesto, go up.
Well, if it's in that style, then you get kind of like how like the people speak.
But here's the thing, 1984, here it is. It is 1984. Now remember, it was written back in 1900. It's 1984, and you have a government called Big Brother. And Big Brother controls everything. And they got cameras everywhere. And they watch you. And if you get in trouble with Big Brother, you could be sitting at a restaurant eating, and Big Brother, an agent, a police officer, their police officers, will come up and they'll pull you out of the restaurant, and then they will reprogram you. And typically what that means is they will torture you until you accept Big Brother. If you don't accept it, you'll disappear. Okay? And so, for example, every at work, you go to work, they have something called the 2-minute hate. And so Big Brother, they're at war with another, and I can't remember what the other country is, the other place is, but they're at war, and so what they do is they have you also, that'd be like if all of us got up, and they stand in front of this TV, then this person comes on TV, and they will tell you how much you should hate this other country, and then you guys, they'll stop, and then you guys would all yell at the TV and mother F the other country for about 2 minutes. And then you guys would go back to work. And each day you would have to do that. And so what 1984 is about is this guy who goes to work and he does that every day. He wakes up and he walks by, he goes to make his coffee in the morning, and there's a TV monitor in his house, and he knows that on the other side of that TV monitor someone's watching him. And he's very aware of it, yeah, right? And then he goes to work and he does this, and one day he looks across the way they're at work and he sees this girl who's working, and he's enchanted by her. And he wants to meet, he wants to talk. And what he finds is she's also just as disillusioned as he is with the society we live in. She hates having to stand there every day and look at the screen and yell about this other. And she questions, like, are we really, they tell us we're at war, are we really at war? And so what they do is they start meeting up and they hide in the corners to make out, to talk. They hide in the corners where the screens can't see them. They get caught. And that's what 1984 is about. I won't tell you what happens once they get caught. I won't tell you what they go through, if they go through anything. But they get caught. What did I tell you? What happens to people who get caught? They get reprogrammed. We don't call it torture. Okay? Here in America, we use certain, you guys heard of waterboarding, right? Under the Bush and the Obama administration, there was waterboarding that was being committed by typically the CIA. They don't call this torture, they call it coercive measures. So that if I want information out of you, I'm going to coerce you. But coercing is a little better than torture, because Americans don't like to hear the word torture. Because when you live in a democratic, civilized society, we don't torture. Okay? But here's an interesting thing. You guys know what a gitmo is? You guys ever heard of gitmo? That's a prison on the island of Cuba. And here's the thing. If you got a prison, a U.S. prison that's not on U.S. soil, the same rules don't apply. You can torture people in gitmo. You can waterboard them. You know what else they do where they do this? They can fly you up in the air on your way to, say, someplace like Gitmo. And when you're 20,000 feet in the air, however high they get, you're no longer in U.S. airspace. And guess what happens when you're not in U.S. airspace? The same rules don't apply. And now, there's a lot of people in the United States who are not okay with that, who call people out on that. John McCain, you guys heard of John McCain? Have you guys, he's a senator from Arizona, he ran for president. You guys remember Sarah Palin?
Yeah.
He ran for president and Sarah Palin was his running mate. John McCain was a Vietnam fighter pilot who shot down Ernesto over North Korea, and he was in prison for I don't remember how many years, and he was tortured while he was in prison. He suffered horrendous abuse from the North Vietnamese government, his captors. And he is an extremely outspoken opponent of the use of torture. And he says, you know what, we're better than that. We shouldn't. So when I tell you these things, I mean, these are things that are, it's well documented, it's relevant. There's also people within the United States who fight against this kind of thing, okay? Communism, what can you tell us about communism? This is a type of command economy. Think about it, command. What does that mean, Nicole? I command you. What does it imply? You have to listen to what I say, and who am I? What's that? The boss? And who am I at a societal level then? I'm the government. Tell us about communism. It's a political economic. What do we mean by political economic system, Andrew? I mean, you could argue everything is a political economic system. Is our economy shaped by politics? Say yes.
Yes.
Right? Our economy is shaped. Look, I just got a big bump in my income. My paycheck was bigger this month than it ever was before. Okay? How did I get it? Who gave it to me?
We did.
Maybe. Who gave it to me? The government. Was that a promise that the president made?
I don't think so.
That's politics. So you can say, but this is something a little different. Yeah, it's a political system. But this is specifically a political economic system. So it's controlled by whom? The government. Okay? Alright. Nicole, what's socialism? So this is a political system, a political economic system whereby government has all of the power. It becomes dictatorial. Now, the government is doing it for the people, just so you know. That's the original idea. And we're going to read about Karl Marx in a minute. Okay? Why'd you just close your book? Wow, what attitude. Okay. What's socialism?
It's an economic system under which most responsibilities are helping them get economic situations are made by different investment.
Okay? So most of the businesses, of the producers, they're publicly owned. What does that mean?
They're owned by people who own the business.
The public. Are you part of the public?
Yeah.
This is a public school. So we all own it. Okay? So when they talk about a socialist, when they talk about social welfare system, that's why it's so important that the public pays into it, the public controls it, the public participates in it. When they talk about a social health system, a public health system, so our tax dollars goes into supporting this health system that we all benefit from. So that means if you pay into it and you pay into it and I pay into it, should we all get equal care? Should we all have access to the same care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're public, so when we go to a store, you can't go to the bathroom because you have to be a customer. Does that matter?
Does it matter?
Yeah, because our taxes will still pay for it.
Well, first of all, we don't live in a socialist society. In America, we live in a democratic society. We also live in a capitalist. Can you take those off, please? Thank you. We also live in a capitalist society. Excuse me. We live in a capitalist or market society. So just because the police can come to your house or the fire department, can someone walk into your house and use your bathroom? No. So the business is a private entity. Now what they do is they allow anyone who shops there. Everyone who shops there should have equal access to the bathrooms. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But they have some rights.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? That makes sense? Okay. So the socialist society, a little different because who controls in a communist society? Nico? We just read it. Who controls it? The political economic system, the communist system is a central government controls the decision, and then the government is supposed to dole things out equally. Socialist society, who controls most of the businesses and decision making, what's the P word?
Public.
The public.
Police.
Okay, not the police, the public. Okay? And then finally, turn to page 52. I haven't heard from Tyler. Tyler, what's the next economic system?
I forgot you said
Page 52, what's the next economic system?
Communism.
No,
Market?
I'm sorry.
Market.
No.
Yeah.
I should have said, no, she's right.
What?
Hold on, page 56. The thing on communism is pretty long. Page 56, what's the next economy? Market economy. Okay, and what is a market again? We talked about this term before.
What is key economic decision?
What is a market? Answer that first, please. What is a market? That is the place. Those are the
Business
people.
owners and consumers.
Okay, so the market is a concept. So when we talk about a market, we're not talking about a specific place. We're talking about generally where people come together to purchase and to sell. Guys, hello. To purchase and to sell goods. What's up? Hey,
So the lady is sitting there.
the lady
Yeah, I thought like the lady spoke
sitting where?
when you were eating cookies.
Oh, Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently Squeezy came and gave her a test that's supposed to take second period.
Oh.
You
So,
were eating cookies?
yeah, I got that test. I forgot. It's sitting right there.
It's only 6 period.
So tell her that, first of all, look at her like this. Wallace says, how you doing?
And that accent, and that voice.
Tell her, yeah, I got it. I didn't know when it was admitted, when you were supposed to take it. I didn't know.
Yeah, yesterday in class was like going through some walls tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't know. No one told me. They just handed me a test and said, here, this is from somebody.
I didn't tell her no, but she got it.
Tell her you will work on it today during 6:30. Alright.
You never saw that movie, Mr. Wallace?
I know.
He doesn't. No.
You remember?
I know what memes are.
What do you mean?
Memes are really small, like that big. They run around and they lick the bottom of your feet.
What?
Those aren't memes.
Are you playing Candy Crush still? Ha.
You just got called. Thank you, Snitch.
I just asked a question.
Thank you, Stitch.
Hey, market economy. What types of economies exist in their market economy? In question. Which one? Open that back up. Which one are we? Which one are we? Which one does America fall under?
Capitalist system.
And what's the other one?
A free enterprise.
Free enterprise capitalist system. We're gonna be talking about it tomorrow. You can close your book.
I'm done, so I don't have to do it.
Give me your work.
Yeah.
How it goes low.
I'm done.
Hey, class isn't over. Sit down. We're gonna review.
We'll talk about now.
Yes.
Oh, heck.
I'm teaching you guys. I love you guys. I know, right? You guys ever realize how mean you guys sound sometimes? Sit down, please. We are not done with class. I just said, Tai, sit down. Ernesto, sit down.
I did a lot of digging.
Ernesto, you're starting up. This, ooh, you're gonna walk out.
Command
You
economy.
didn't, I didn't walk out, you kicked me.
You wouldn't be quiet.
Yesterday you never came back.
Command economy.
No, that's not what I'm asking. Ernesto,
Yes.
what is economics? What is the study of economics? Is a study of what?
Studied by showing myself something.
Thank you. That makes a lot of
Are
sense. No. What is the study of economics? It is the study of unlimited,
I was close.
Resources.
no, unlimited
Wants and needs.
in competition with limited.
Resources.
That's
Boom, give me an example of a resource. One type of resource. One type.
Land.
Land. What does land mean? When we talk about land, what are we talking about? Living.
Crops.
What are we talking about? Hey, have a seat, please. No. So, listen. Earth is a hint.
Earth.
Earth.
Listen.
Ooh, that's all
No, listen. It is the blessings of nature, natural resources. So when Libby, did you say land? No, you said land, right? You said land. Libby, what I'm looking for are natural resources like what?
Plants.
What do we need? Okay, so we need
Gas.
So what plant do we need to make paper?
Trees.
And what do trees make?
Wood.
Fiber.
No, trees. So we get wood from trees. What do we make from the
Paper,
wood?
wood. I mean,
Wood, okay.
pencils.
Money, focus stuff.
Money.
Money, what else? Pencils?
Why are you trying to say what I
Building.
said?
Whoa, what the frick are you talking
You
about?
just said the same thing.
She started it. No, she started it.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm not gonna say anything. What else do we make? Trees.
Building.
Libby! Pay attention. Put away your phone.
Yeah, Libby. Building.
I just said wood. Frick.
Bikes.
Pencils.
Building.
Buildings. What else? Paper.
That
Pencils.
thing. That's made out of wood. Art.
Boom. Art. You know what? That's cool. What else?
People.
People.
You mean people out of wood?
I'm not made out of wood.
What else? Okay, give me another resource.
How do
Devin,
you
give me
desk?
another resource.
That's it.
Excuse me, Devin's talking. Yeah, you know what? The top of the desk. Give me another resource. What's another resource? Besides land, what else we got?
Capital.
We got capital. So, man, stay by the bell. Have a nice day.
That's 7 or 8.
Punks.
Come here, huh?
I called you punks. Ernesto, stay here. Yes.
Yep. That's it.